Welcome to the transition course from ISO IEC 17020 to 2012 to ISO IEC 17020 to 2026, designed to help you master the changes with confidence. The 2026 edition sets a new direction for inspection bodies, emphasizing risk-based thinking and modern practices. Explore the changes, their significance, and how they affect auditing through this comprehensive course. This chapter focuses on understanding the changes in the ISO IEC 17020 to 2026 transition and their importance. The transition from 2012 to 2026 is more than a date change. It involves significant updates in competence and operational requirements. The standard was revised to address evolving inspection activities and incorporate modern practices. Confidence in inspection remains central, focusing on competence, impartiality, and consistency. The biggest change is the simplification of independence types to reduce ambiguity. Type A organizations must reassess their compliance with the 2026 requirements. Understanding Type Non-A involves reassessing and verifying current practices against new requirements. Risk-based thinking is now more visible, influencing inspection body decisions and arrangements. Imagine how risk-based thinking affects real inspection bodies, especially with new technologies. Greater flexibility in the 2026 revision means greater responsibility for inspection bodies. The transition snapshot compares the 2012 and 2026 editions, highlighting key changes. Data and information control are crucial in the 2026 edition, spotlighting their creation and management. Transition requires system changes, not just document updates, for effective compliance. A gap analysis mindset helps evaluate and implement necessary changes for compliance. The transition readiness graph shows a gradual increase in readiness through structured implementation. The lead auditor's role involves distinguishing between unchanged, changed, and gap areas in the transition. Type C inspection bodies face practical challenges in transitioning to the new framework. Successful transition begins with understanding impact, not just editing documents. Transition auditing begins by understanding how the revised standard is organized and how its language has changed. A familiar-looking requirement can contain revised wording, a changed emphasis, or a different expectation for implementation. CDG training emphasizes that lead auditors should compare requirements by meaning and practical impact, not simply by clause number. The structure of a conformity assessment standard influences how inspection bodies organize procedures, responsibilities, records, and audit programs. Changes between editions can therefore affect much more than the management system manual. A transition team should map revised requirements to existing processes before deciding whether changes are necessary. Clause mapping creates a bridge between the old and new editions. The organization identifies where an existing 2012 requirement is addressed in the 2026 edition and determines whether its intent, wording, or implementation expectations have changed. This provides a structured starting point for transition gap analysis. A revised standard may relocate, combine, separate, clarify, or reframe requirements. Therefore, identical numbering cannot be assumed, and changed numbering does not automatically mean an entirely new requirement exists. The auditor should read the actual requirement and understand its intended outcome. Terminology matters because organizations use standard language in manuals, procedures, contracts, training, audit checklists, and accreditation documentation. When terminology changes, the inspection body should determine where the old terminology appears and whether those references need updating. One of the most visible changes concerns inspection body independence categories. ISO IEC 17020 to 2012 used Type A, Type B, and Type C inspection bodies. The 2026 edition moves to Type A and Type Non-A, simplifying the previous categories. This requires organizations to understand how their existing independence arrangements align with the revised framework. Changing the label from Type B or Type C to Type Non-A is not enough. The organization needs to understand the applicable independence requirements and determine whether its existing structure and relationships remain appropriately controlled. Lead auditors should examine actual organizational relationships instead of relying only on the classification printed in documentation. Regardless of terminology changes, impartiality remains central to confidence and inspection activities. Commercial, financial, organizational, personal, or other pressures can potentially influence inspection judgment. The transition should therefore examine whether revised documentation and arrangements continue to demonstrate effective identification and management of impartiality risks. The 2026 revision gives greater visibility to risk-based thinking. This encourages organizations to consider uncertainty and potential effects when establishing and operating inspection body processes. The auditor should look for risk thinking within actual decisions rather than expecting every risk to appear in one separate register. Greater flexibility can allow organizations to establish arrangements appropriate to their activities and circumstances. This does not reduce accountability. Where an organization chooses a particular method of control, it should be able to demonstrate that the method effectively fulfills the applicable requirement. The 2026 revision emphasizes that while fundamental inspection principles continue, existing concepts have changed wording or emphasis. Content may appear differently within the revised structure, and new or strengthened areas include risk-based thinking, independence, and data and information. Modern inspection activities can involve electronic forms, digital photographs, videos, sensor readings, software-generated calculations, cloud records, and remote inspection evidence. The 2026 revision gives greater attention to data and information control. Transition teams should therefore consider terminology and processes related to digital information as part of their gap analysis. Traditional inspection evidence may have consisted mainly of paper forms and physical records. Modern inspection bodies increasingly rely on digital platforms. Lead auditors should understand where electronic inspection evidence originates, who can modify it, how it is protected, and how the organization maintains confidence in its integrity. A definition provides a common basis for interpreting a requirement. Transition teams should therefore review updated terminology before rewriting procedures. Using familiar 2012 interpretations without checking the 2026 language can lead to incorrect transition decisions. Show generally increasing effort from simple editorial updates toward changes that affect operational controls and organizational arrangements. Once structural and terminology differences are understood, the organization can determine which controlled information requires revision. Updates may affect manuals, procedures, forms, inspector guidance, competence materials, internal audit tools, management review inputs, contractual information, websites, and other relevant records. An inspection body previously operated under the Type C framework. Its quality manual, impartiality procedure, inspector training, contracts, website, internal audit checklist, and management review records all use the Type C terminology. Management performs a global search and replace and changes every reference to Type non-A. However, no assessment is performed to determine whether the revised independence requirements affect organizational relationships or existing controls. A lead auditor should therefore investigate beyond the new wording and determine whether the organization has understood, assessed, and implemented the substance of the revised requirements. The transition from ISO IEC 17020 to 2012 to ISO IEC 17020 to 2026 should not be managed as a simple clause renumbering or terminology update exercise. Lead auditors need to understand which requirements were retained, revised, reorganized, or strengthened and then determine their real operational impact. CDG Training's view is that effective transition auditing begins with meaning, not wording. An organization may update every document and still have a transition gap if its people, processes, independence arrangements, risk controls, or information management practices have not changed where necessary. A skilled lead auditor should trace every significant revision through requirement, process, responsibility, implementation, objective evidence. Impartiality is crucial for credible inspections. ensuring decisions are based on objective evidence rather than external pressures. The 2026 model emphasizes examining both revised independence models and real relationships that could influence judgment. Impartiality and independence are interconnected, focusing on objectivity and relationships that support inspections. Policies alone aren't enough. Actual operations may create threats requiring attention. The 2012 model categorized inspection body independence into types A, B, and C, each reflecting different relationships and structures. The 2026 model simplifies independence into type A and type non-A, marking a significant transition for organizations previously under types B and C. The transition from 2012 to 2026 involves evaluating requirements and relationships, not just renaming categories. It's about understanding responsibilities and documentation. Type A represents bodies operating under strict independence requirements, focusing on relationships with inspected items and careful consideration of applicable provisions. Type non-A provides a framework for bodies not under Type A, focusing on managing impartiality and independence requirements. Organizational relationships can pose threats to impartiality and need to be understood and controlled. Identifying impartiality risks involves understanding relationships and threats, followed by assessment and monitoring. Commercial pressure can influence inspection outcomes, highlighting the need for strong management systems to prevent undue influence. Self-review threats arise when inspection involves work by the same organization, requiring clear separation of responsibilities and controls. Personnel impartiality requires addressing conflicts from relationships, interests, and responsibilities to ensure unbiased inspections. The transition from 2012 to 2026 requires assessment, not just relabeling, to ensure true independence. Safeguards should address identified threats, involving responsibility separation and technical review to ensure independence. Monitoring changes in relationships is crucial for maintaining effective impartiality assessments and controls. As safeguards strengthen, impartiality risks decline, highlighting the importance of effective conflict identification and monitoring. A lead auditor should gather evidence from various sources to verify the independence model matches actual operations. Transitioning from Type C to Type non-A involves understanding relationships and responsibilities, not just a name change. The key takeaway is that evidence, not just classification, demonstrates impartiality, requiring a deeper understanding of relationships and threats. CDG training emphasizes auditing through relationships and real decisions, not just declarations, to ensure true impartiality. Confidentiality and information protection are crucial in maintaining compliance in inspection activities. Training emphasizes examining confidentiality across the entire information lifecycle. Confidentiality extends beyond just documents. It includes conversations, images, devices, and digital platforms, requiring a comprehensive approach to information protection. Understanding which information requires protection is vital. Inspection bodies must assess how information is received and determine its confidentiality needs. The transition from 2012 to 2026 involves adapting to new environments and exposures, requiring updated controls to maintain confidentiality. Legal and contractual commitments require inspection bodies to know obligations, control access, authorize disclosures, and retain evidence. Information from other sources must be handled carefully to avoid damaging confidence in the inspection process. Personnel confidentiality involves ensuring that all roles, from employees to support staff, understand their responsibilities in protecting information. Access should be restricted based on the need-to-know principle, ensuring only those with a role-related need can access information. Digital inspection records can move quickly between devices and platforms, requiring careful consideration of confidentiality and control. Remote inspection information involves various digital elements, requiring careful management of access, transfer, and retention. The inspection information protection model involves securing access, transfer, storage, and disposal, ensuring confidentiality throughout the process. Information must be protected during transfer, using secure channels to prevent unauthorized sharing. Cloud platforms and external providers require careful management to ensure confidentiality is maintained even when using third-party services. Authorized disclosure requires a clear process of request, verification, approval, disclosure, and recording to ensure compliance. Maintaining information integrity involves tracking changes and ensuring the history of inspection information is traceable and reliable. Information exposure varies across the lifecycle, requiring careful monitoring and control to prevent breaches. Using personal devices for inspection photos poses challenges, requiring synchronization and careful management to maintain confidentiality. Confidentiality extends across all aspects of inspection, from collection to disposal, requiring comprehensive protection measures. CDG training emphasizes that confidentiality should follow the information, not just the filing cabinet, ensuring protection throughout its lifecycle. An inspection body needs a clear organizational structure that supports competent, impartial, and consistent inspection activities. Reporting lines, technical authority, responsibilities, legal arrangements, and operational relationships should be clear enough to prevent uncertainty about who controls inspection decisions. An inspection body must operate within a defined legal or organizational framework. Auditors need to understand where the inspection function sits and who carries responsibility for its operations. This is crucial when inspection activities are part of a larger corporate structure. Transitioning from 2012 to 2026 requires adapting to new standards without assuming past arrangements meet current expectations. Changes in independence categories, risk-based thinking, and greater flexibility are essential for compliance. Inspection activities need clear responsibility definitions. Personnel must know who controls decisions, authorizes inspectors, approves reports, and manages operations. Unclear authority can lead to inconsistent decisions and weak accountability. Technical management provides direction and oversight for inspection activities. Those in these roles need sufficient competence and authority to ensure operations remain controlled. Lead auditors should examine actual roles rather than job titles. Inspection activities should not become uncontrolled due to the absence of a key manager. Proper arrangements ensure continuity when responsible personnel are unavailable. Auditors should check if deputies have clear authority and competence. Organization charts show reporting relationships but don't demonstrate how they operate in practice. Lead auditors should compare charts with job descriptions, records, and actual inspection processes to ensure accuracy. Inspection decisions should follow defined responsibilities and technical criteria. Commercial influences should not affect technical conclusions. Organizations must maintain governance arrangements that protect inspection integrity. Inspection bodies operate in environments where commercial pressures exist. These should not compromise technical judgment. Lead auditors should investigate how commercial expectations affect technical conclusions. Inspection may depend on various departments like IT, finance, and procurement. These interfaces should be understood as failures outside the inspection team can affect quality and reliability. The governance pyramid illustrates authority flow from leadership through technical management to inspectors. Impartiality and competence are essential at every level. Assigning responsibility without sufficient authority creates weak control. Lead auditors should test whether people can exercise the authority described in procedures. Organizational changes like mergers or restructuring can affect inspection activities. Such changes may influence impartiality, competence, and technical responsibility. Large inspection bodies may operate across multiple locations. Consistent governance becomes challenging when resources are distributed. Auditors should ensure central requirements translate into consistent practice. Technical supervision can now occur remotely using digital systems. These technologies improve efficiency, but responsibilities must remain clear. The graph shows the relationship between governance clarity and inspection consistency. As roles and authority become defined, technical oversight improves, leading to better accountability. During restructuring, the inspection department may report to a director responsible for multiple areas. Auditors should examine how new structures affect inspection activities. Effective organizational structure is shown through clear roles, authority, technical management, and consistent governance. Auditors should follow authority from charts into actual activities. CDG training emphasizes testing governance where authority meets inspection decisions. A perfect organization chart means little if commercial managers influence results or inspectors lack competence. Reliable inspection depends on people who can apply technical knowledge, professional judgment, inspection methods, equipment, and reporting requirements consistently. Academic qualifications and training certificates can support competence, but they do not guarantee it. Only after a person can perform a specific inspection activity correctly can they be considered competent. Before evaluating an inspector, the inspection body needs to determine what competence is required for the assigned activity. Requirements can vary according to inspection field, technical complexity, equipment, methods, regulations, risks, and responsibilities. Clear competence criteria provide the foundation for selection, training, authorization, and monitoring. Inspection bodies already operating under ISO, IEC 17020-2012 are likely to have personnel competence processes. Transition provides an opportunity to determine whether these arrangements remain suitable for current inspection activities, technology, organizational risks, and revised requirements. The review should focus on actual effectiveness rather than merely changing references from 2012 to 2026. A university degree, professional license, trade qualification, or training certificate can provide valuable evidence. However, inspection work often requires practical application and sound judgment. An engineer with strong academic knowledge may still require supervised experience before being competent to independently inspect specialized equipment. Inspectors frequently encounter conditions that cannot be fully reproduced in a classroom. Field experience helps them recognize abnormal conditions, select appropriate methods, interpret results, and understand practical limitations. Inspection bodies should determine what type and level of experience are appropriate for specific responsibilities. Training is most valuable when it responds to identified competence needs. It may cover inspection methods, regulations, equipment, safety, digital systems, reporting, impartiality, or specialized technical subjects. Training records should show what learning occurred, but the organization should also determine whether learning has produced the required capability. Competence evaluation can use different forms of evidence depending on the activity. Written examinations, practical demonstrations, witnessed inspections, record reviews, interviews, technical exercises, and performance monitoring can all contribute. The evaluation method should be capable of demonstrating the competence being assessed. Direct observation of an inspector performing actual or simulated work can provide strong competence evidence. The evaluator can observe preparation, method selection, equipment use, technical judgment, recording, and reporting. A witnessed inspection should evaluate meaningful aspects of the person's assigned responsibilities. Competence assessment and authorization are related but different. After competence has been established, the organization can define which inspection activities a person is authorized to perform. Authorization should be clear enough to prevent personnel from performing activities outside their approved competence. A competence matrix can provide a useful overview of personnel capabilities. It may connect inspectors with inspection fields, methods, equipment, authorization status, and competence evidence. However, a green cell in a spreadsheet is not enough by itself. Auditors should trace selected entries back to supporting evidence. The inspector competence framework involves defining requirements, selecting personnel, developing competence, evaluating, authorizing, and monitoring. This cycle ensures reliable inspection by maintaining a continuous focus on competence. Competence is not necessarily permanent. Personnel performance can change, and inspection methods, equipment, regulations, technologies, or responsibilities can evolve. Ongoing monitoring helps determine whether authorized personnel continue to perform activities competently. Inspectors may need refresher training, technical updates, supervised practice, or reassessment when requirements change. Long periods without performing a particular inspection activity may also affect practical capability. Modern inspection can involve drones, thermal imaging, digital measurement systems, remote inspection platforms, artificial intelligence, sensors, and specialized software. An inspector who is competent with traditional methods should not automatically be assumed competent with new technology. Competence requirements can extend beyond field inspectors. Technical managers, report reviewers, personnel making technical decisions, trainers, evaluators, and other personnel can influence inspection quality. The organization should determine competence requirements according to actual responsibilities. Confidence in demonstrated competence increases through practical evaluation and with time enhanced through monitoring and refresher activities. An inspector has worked for the organization for 15 years and is widely regarded as its most experienced employee. The competence matrix shows full authorization for several inspection activities. During the transition audit, the lead auditor discovers that some authorizations were carried forward for years without recent monitoring evidence. New digital inspection equipment has also been introduced, but no documented assessment demonstrates competence in its use. Experience remains valuable, but the organization still needs appropriate evidence that current authorized responsibilities are competently performed. Personnel competence is a continuing process connecting defined requirements, qualifications, experience, training, practical evaluation, authorization, monitoring, and continuing development. Lead auditors should determine whether people can actually perform the inspection activities for which they are authorized. CDG Training's view is that competence should be audited at the point where knowledge becomes action. Certificates, CVs, years of experience, and competence matrices are useful evidence, but they become much stronger when supported by practical evaluation and consistent performance. For transition auditing, follow the complete competence trail. Facilities, equipment, and technology are crucial for effective inspections. They influence the validity and consistency of results. Resource suitability is key for effective inspections. Equipment must be suitable, available, controlled, maintained, and traceable. The transition from 2012 to 2026 involves adopting new technologies and controls to manage risks and ensure effective inspections. Facilities can significantly affect inspection quality. Environmental conditions and interference can impact results. Inspection equipment must meet specific requirements to ensure accurate results. Consider range, accuracy, and intended use. Equipment identification is crucial for traceability and reliability. It involves tracking ID, status, history, and results. Calibration and measurement traceability are vital for accurate inspection results. They ensure instruments are reliable and consistent. Calibration is more than just a label. It involves examining certificates and ensuring equipment meets all criteria. Intermediate checks are necessary to ensure equipment continues to perform well between formal calibrations. Regular maintenance is essential to keep equipment reliable and suitable for inspections. The inspection resource control cycle ensures every piece of equipment is properly managed for reliable results. When equipment fails, it's crucial to stop use, evaluate past results, and take corrective action. Digital inspection technology enhances efficiency but requires careful management of hardware, software, and data. Inspection software must be controlled to ensure it produces reliable results. Auditors should verify its effectiveness. Software updates can significantly impact inspection results. It's important to assess and monitor changes carefully. Drones and remote tools offer new inspection capabilities but require careful consideration of limitations and data quality. Inspection technology is complex, requiring careful control and management to ensure reliability and accuracy. Software updates pose practical challenges during transitions. Auditors must ensure updates don't affect inspection accuracy. Advanced technology enhances inspections but requires careful resource management to ensure reliability. CDG training emphasizes auditing equipment and technology to ensure they don't compromise inspection results. Inspection methods translate technical requirements into practical examination activities, ensuring reliable conclusions. For 2026, CDG training emphasizes that lead auditors should verify not only the existence of inspection procedures but also their effectiveness in supporting reliable decisions. Every inspection starts with understanding what needs to be examined and the criteria for evaluation. These criteria can come from various sources, including legislation and standards. Auditors must ask, what determines if the item passes or fails? Transitioning from ISO, IEC 17020 to 2012 to 2026 involves evaluating existing methods and determining necessary changes. The goal is to ensure methods remain suitable and effective without unnecessary rewrites. Inspection methods must align with the item or activity being examined, providing enough information for accurate conclusions. Personnel should understand how methods are selected and used. Standard methods use established guidelines, while non-standard methods may require adaptation. Organizations should ensure methods are appropriate for their inspection purposes. Inspection procedures ensure consistency by defining preparation, sequence, and criteria. Clear procedures help personnel apply them effectively. Risk-based thinking helps consider factors affecting inspection validity and reliability. It involves evaluating people, methods, and technology. A risk register is useful, but risk-based thinking should guide actual decisions. High-risk activities may require more experienced personnel or specialized equipment. Planning inspections involves determining necessary resources and time. Complex inspections may need more detailed planning than routine ones. Sampling methods should support inspection objectives, influencing the reliability of conclusions. Auditors need to understand how samples are handled and linked to results. Risk-based inspection control involves varying levels of assurance based on risk. Higher risk requires more assurance and technical review. Deviations in inspection methods should be technically justified and communicated. Informal deviations should be avoided. Inspection conclusions rely on accurate calculations and data transfer. Errors can lead to incorrect outcomes, so verification is crucial. Access to current inspection instructions is vital. Digital systems can help, but offline copies may still pose risks. Inspection activities occur in various environments, affecting how they are performed. Conditions like safety and equipment access are crucial considerations. Inspection risk correlates with assurance effort. Higher risk requires more thorough review and oversight. Remote inspection methods, like drones, offer practical solutions for challenging environments. Transitioning requires careful evaluation of new technologies. Reliable inspections connect various elements like requirements, planning, and risk-based thinking. Stronger control and evidence are needed for higher uncertainty. CDG training advises lead auditors to follow inspection methods from written procedures to real environments. Transition auditing requires a complete operational checklist. In today's digital age, inspection bodies handle vast amounts of data, from field photographs to electronic signatures. As we move towards 2026, it's crucial to manage digital information with the same rigor as physical records. The shift from 2012 to 2026 marks a digital transformation in inspections. With advancements like cloud platforms and automated calculations, inspection bodies must adapt to ensure data integrity and control. Digital data plays a pivotal role in inspection decisions. Incomplete or altered information can lead to unreliable conclusions, emphasizing the need for accuracy and protection. Understanding the origin of inspection data is crucial. From source to report, knowing where data comes from helps determine necessary controls. Data integrity ensures information remains accurate and protected. It's vital to connect electronic measurements with the correct equipment and inspection details. Digital records require robust traceability. User identities and system logs help demonstrate who performed or changed an activity, ensuring accountability. Access control is essential in managing inspection information. It should reflect roles and responsibilities, ensuring only authorized personnel can modify data. Unauthorized changes can undermine inspection credibility. Systems must provide control over changes to maintain trust in records. Data transfer between systems poses risks of errors and corruption. Each transfer stage must be carefully managed to ensure data integrity. Despite digital advancements, manual data entry remains crucial. Errors in data entry can lead to significant inspection risks, highlighting the need for accuracy. The digital inspection information lifecycle ensures data integrity, confidentiality, and availability. Each stage, from capture to disposal, plays a critical role. Cloud-based platforms support inspection processes across locations. Lead auditors must ensure critical information is controlled, considering access, backup, and availability. Backup and availability are crucial for maintaining inspection information. Proper arrangements ensure continuity in case of failures or data loss. Software calculations and automated decisions must be accurate. Organizations should verify that software is calculating correctly to ensure reliable inspection results. AI and automated tools enhance inspection processes but raise questions about reliability and human oversight. It's crucial to balance automation with human review. As inspections become more digital, the need for information assurance grows. Balancing digital dependency with control is essential for reliable inspections. Digital transitions can lead to challenges, such as attaching the wrong records. It's vital to ensure accuracy in digital record management to avoid inspection errors. Digital transformation affects how inspection data is handled. Lead auditors must track data from its source to the final inspection conclusion to ensure reliability. CDG training emphasizes that digital records require the same scrutiny as physical ones. Lead auditors should ensure data integrity from source to protected record. Inspection activities generate crucial information for safety, regulatory, and conformity decisions. Reports and certificates must be accurate and traceable to their sources. Inspection reports communicate the outcomes of inspection activities, detailing identification, results, and conclusions. They help users understand what was inspected and the results achieved. The transition from 2012 to 2026 involves adapting to new technologies and requirements. Electronic approvals and digital certificates are key to modernizing inspection processes. Accurate identification is crucial to ensure inspection results are reliable. Reports must clearly link to the inspected item to avoid errors. Lead auditors should connect reports to inspections by tracing back through evidence and decisions. This ensures accountability and accuracy in reporting. Reports must be verified, reviewed, authorized, and released accurately. Digital automation can help reduce errors but must be managed carefully. Certificates communicate conformity status but must be supported by evidence. Lead auditors should treat certificates as part of a larger inspection record. Electronic reports and signatures enhance speed and traceability. They ensure that report approvals are secure and attributed correctly. Organizations need a process to correct issued reports. This ensures that recipients have the most accurate and controlled versions. Customer feedback can highlight weaknesses in the inspection system. It's important to evaluate and learn from feedback to improve processes. Transforming inspection evidence into a trusted report involves evaluation, review, and authorization. This process ensures accuracy and integrity. Complaints should be handled objectively and through a structured process. They provide insights into inspection quality and system effectiveness. An appeal involves reconsidering a decision made during inspection activities. It's distinct from a complaint and requires careful handling. Impartiality is crucial in handling complaints and appeals. Reviewers must remain objective to ensure fair evaluations. Complaints can reveal issues missed by routine controls. Lead auditors should investigate both individual complaints and broader trends. Tracking complaint trends helps management focus on necessary corrective actions. This ensures continuous improvement in inspection processes. Revising certificates during transitions can be challenging. It's crucial to ensure all corrections are properly documented and communicated. Reliable reporting connects inspection integrity, evidence, and traceability. Complaints and appeals provide insights into system effectiveness. CDG training emphasizes the importance of continuous auditing. Lead auditors should ensure that every conclusion is traceable and supported by evidence. An inspection body requires more than just competent inspectors and reliable equipment. It needs a management system that connects policies, responsibilities, and documentation into a cohesive framework. For the 2026 transition, CDG training emphasizes that management system effectiveness should be demonstrated through everyday operations, not just documented procedures. Transitioning from ISO, IEC 17020 to 2012 to 2026 involves identifying what remains, what needs modification, and what new expectations exist. The goal is a controlled, evidence-based transition without unnecessary rewriting. A structured gap analysis connects each requirement with the current process, supporting documentation and implementation. It helps define the transition action when existing systems don't fully address a requirement. Not every difference in wording means a change is needed. Transition teams must evaluate both the revised standard and current activities to determine if changes are necessary. Documentation should reflect actual practices and support consistent implementation. It includes policies, procedures, and technical methods that are approved, current, available, understood, and applied. Inspectors need access to current and appropriate information. Lead auditors compare the official controlled version with documents used in the field to ensure consistency. Records provide evidence of what happened and should be identifiable, retrievable, and protected. They include inspection reports, audits, and management review outputs. Internal audits are crucial for determining if the revised management system is implemented. They should go beyond document comparison to include real inspection activities and personnel engagement. Auditors need competence and objectivity to understand the activities being audited. Audit arrangements should support objective evaluation and avoid self-review. Risk-based audit planning directs resources to areas where assurance is most valuable. It considers previous findings, process significance, and other relevant risks. The transition gap analysis identifies gaps and impacts, guiding transition actions and implementation evidence. Do not close the gap until evidence exists. Management review evaluates the management system's effectiveness and readiness for transition. It involves inputs, evaluation, decisions, actions, and follow-up. A management review meeting should lead to decisions based on evaluation and actions. Lead auditors trace review inputs to management decisions and follow-up evidence. When a requirement isn't fulfilled, immediate correction may address the visible issue, but further action is needed to address the root cause. Repeated problems indicate unresolved weaknesses. Corrective action focuses on addressing the cause of a nonconformity to prevent recurrence. It involves replacing expired items and improving processes to prevent future issues. Continual improvement strengthens management systems by learning from audits, complaints, and operational experience. It involves planning, doing, checking, and acting on improvements. The transition maturity graph shows the stages of implementation, from gap analysis to verified readiness. Documentation alone doesn't complete the transition. Verified implementation is required. A 100% complete dashboard may not reflect true readiness if underlying issues remain. Inspectors should use field checklists and consider new digital tools to ensure comprehensive transition readiness. A successful transition connects gap analysis, documentation, implementation, records, internal audit, corrective action, and continual improvement. Transition is complete only when revised arrangements are operating effectively. CDG training emphasizes asking, "What changed?" and "Can we prove it works?" for every significant requirement. This prevents confusion and ensures genuine system transition. A gap analysis identifies what needs attention, but a transition plan turns those findings into controlled action. Inspection bodies need to decide what will change, who will be responsible, what resources are required, when actions will be completed, and what evidence will demonstrate successful implementation. For the 2026 transition, CDG training emphasizes that every significant transition action should finish with verifiable implementation evidence, not simply a completed task status. Transition planning should begin with the results of a structured comparison between the existing management system and applicable 2026 requirements. Each identified difference should be evaluated for its actual impact on inspection activities rather than automatically becoming a document change task. Ask, what must change for this requirement to work effectively in our organization? Some existing arrangements may continue to work effectively. Others may need revision because the requirement, technology, organizational context, or inspection activity has changed. Separating these categories prevents unnecessary disruption to mature processes. Not all gaps carry the same significance. A spelling change in a controlled form is different from an unresolved independence issue or an uncontrolled inspection data process. Priorities can consider potential effect on impartiality, competence, inspection validity, information integrity, and management system effectiveness. Every transition action should have clear responsibility. Without ownership, actions can remain open while everyone assumes another department is handling them. Responsibilities may involve technical management, quality personnel, IT teams, human resources, inspection managers, or senior leadership. One transition action can depend on another. A revised inspection method may require new equipment controls, inspector training, software configuration, and updated competence authorization before implementation. Understanding these dependencies prevents premature closure. Organizations affected by the move from the previous Type A, Type B, and Type C framework to the revised Type A and Type NANA model should determine the implications for their arrangements. Transition actions can involve reviewing organizational relationships, impartiality risks, safeguards, documentation, responsibilities, and relevant external information. Risk-based thinking should be incorporated into relevant transition decisions rather than added as an isolated document. Inspection bodies can consider risks affecting impartiality, personnel competence, inspection methods, equipment, information, technology, suppliers, and organizational change. Digital information controls may require coordination between inspection teams and IT specialists. Access permissions, cloud platforms, mobile devices, electronic records, software, backups, data transfers, and trials may all need review. Technical changes should remain connected to inspection requirements. The Transition Action Plan outlines key gaps, risks, required actions, action owners, implementation status, and verification evidence. Each element is crucial for ensuring a successful transition to the ISO/IEC 17020-2026 standards. Once necessary process changes are understood, affected policies, procedures, forms, inspection instructions, competence materials, and other controlled information can be revised. Documentation should describe the intended operating system after transition rather than becoming the transition itself. Employees need to understand changes that affect their responsibilities. Simply uploading a revised procedure to a document portal does not demonstrate that relevant personnel understand it. Communication can be targeted according to role and significance of change. Training should be linked to actual competence needs. Changes involving new inspection methods, digital technology, information controls, or responsibilities may require practical learning and evaluation. Attendance alone should not automatically become evidence of competence. Significant operational changes can be tested before full deployment. A pilot can reveal workflow problems, unclear responsibilities, software issues, or unexpected inspection risk. Lessons from the pilot can then strengthen wider implementation. Transition managers should check whether approved changes are actually being followed during inspection activities. Field verification can reveal outdated checklists, uncontrolled local documents, old software configurations, or personnel who have not understood revised responsibilities. Internal audit provides an opportunity to test the transition system before an external transition assessment. Auditors can sample significant changes, trace implementation evidence, interview personnel, observe inspections, and identify remaining gaps. The readiness graph shows the progression from gap analysis to verification, illustrating the stages of transition readiness. Each stage is crucial for ensuring a smooth transition to the ISO/IEC 17020-2026 standards. An inspection body identifies 35 transition actions. Management closes 30 after procedures are revised and staff receive email notifications. During an internal readiness audit, inspectors cannot explain several revised requirements, old forms remain in field vehicles, and new cloud access controls have not been tested. The transition manager reopens affected actions and requires operational evidence before final closure. A successful transition plan connects identified gaps, risk priorities, clear ownership, process changes, controlled documentation, communication, competence, implementation, internal audit, and verification evidence. A green status indicator does not demonstrate conformity unless the required change is operating effectively. CDG Training's view is that a transition action should never be considered complete merely because a document was revised, training was scheduled, or a task was marked closed. The strongest transition program connects every significant action to verifiable implementation evidence. A transition audit ensures that an inspection body has understood and implemented necessary actions, providing evidence of effective changes. The lead auditor should focus on document comparison and review of key activities and decisions. CDC training emphasizes an evidence-first approach to verify effectiveness. The audit objective should clarify what the transition assessment aims to determine, including understanding revised requirements and addressing relevant gaps. A clear objective prevents the audit from becoming unfocused. Consider whether the organization effectively transitioned to the revised requirements. The transition scope should cover organizational units, activities, locations, processes, and systems. For multi-site organizations, understanding where changes were implemented and maintaining consistency is crucial. Audit findings need clear criteria. The 2026 requirements, along with relevant organizational arrangements, form the primary reference. Auditors should avoid basing findings on personal preference. The gap analysis from 2012 to 2026 provides a starting point, identifying changes and necessary actions. The lead auditor should test whether changes were understood and implemented correctly. With limited audit time, prioritize high-impact changes affecting independence, technology, and inspection validity. Editorial changes require less effort than those influencing inspection quality. Interviews with top management help determine if transitions were treated as organizational changes. Explore responsibilities, risks, and management oversight to understand transition handling. Technical managers provide insights into how revised requirements affected inspection methods and decisions. Their responses should align with documented actions and evidence. Inspectors offer valuable evidence on transition changes. Ask practical questions to reveal procedures and areas where communication may have failed. Observation allows auditors to compare procedures with actual practice, revealing gaps that may not be visible in document reviews. Cross-checking evidence from documents, interviews, and observations ensures a comprehensive audit conclusion. Verify implementation before concluding. Digital systems require attention where they influence inspection activities. Examine permissions, timestamps, and data transfers to ensure sufficient evidence. Risk-based sampling helps focus on significant areas, considering risk, change, and previous issues. It prioritizes attention where it's most needed. Forward tracing starts with a requirement and follows it through implementation, helping determine if actions reached practice. Backward tracing starts with an inspection report and works toward supporting evidence, ensuring thorough verification of transition controls. Conflicting evidence requires further verification rather than immediate conclusions. Detect conflicts, expand samples, and verify thoroughly. Confidence in transition audits grows as evidence moves from intention to verified implementation. Each stage from policy to cross-verification builds assurance. A practical challenge arises when documents appear perfect, but practices are outdated. Auditors must expand samples and follow evidence to determine the extent of gaps. Effective transition auditing combines criteria, sampling, interviews, and evidence review. The central question is whether 2026 changes are working in real activities. CDG training emphasizes following evidence wherever it leads. A revised procedure is useful, but confidence grows with stronger evidence from practice. Transition audits are crucial for distinguishing between incomplete tasks and genuine nonconformities, ensuring accurate and useful findings. Auditors start with clear criteria to evaluate evidence and determine findings, forming the foundation of the audit process. Conformity can also be a finding, showing that evidence supports the transition's success, not just failures. Nonconformities arise when requirements aren't met, and it's crucial to identify the gap clearly. Not all transition actions are nonconformities. Auditors must discern whether criteria are met before labeling them as such. Findings should be based on objective evidence, avoiding subjective accusations and focusing on facts. Evidence must thoroughly support findings, ensuring a comprehensive understanding of the issue before conclusions are drawn. A clear nonconformity statement connects requirements, evidence, and identified gaps for better understanding. Transition findings require a structured approach, linking criteria, evidence, evaluation, and findings. Consistent classification of findings is essential, focusing on evidence first and classification second. Effective communication during audits allows for clarification and correction of misunderstandings before concluding. The closing meeting focuses on communicating findings and conclusions, ensuring they are connected to objective evidence. Corrections address immediate issues, while corrective actions tackle the root cause to prevent recurrence. Root cause analysis investigates underlying issues, considering factors like people, process, and technology. Corrective action planning involves addressing causes and ensuring responsibilities and implementation are clear. Verifying effectiveness ensures that corrective actions have resolved the issue and prevented recurrence. The process from finding to closure involves identifying issues, determining root causes, and implementing corrective actions. A practical challenge in audits is ensuring secure digital access, requiring corrective actions to address access management. Key takeaways include connecting criteria, evidence, and clear communication to address gaps effectively. CDG training emphasizes that nonconformities should lead to improvements by addressing root causes and implementing effective actions. A successful transition is more than replacing the year on procedures and certificates. It requires the inspection body to understand revised requirements, assess their impact, implement necessary changes, verify operational effectiveness, and maintain objective evidence. In this final chapter, CDG training brings the complete transition journey together, from understanding the revision to demonstrating audit readiness. A transition project should first understand the existing inspection body management system. Mature processes should not be discarded simply because a new edition has been published. Existing arrangements for impartiality, competence, equipment, inspection methods, reporting, complaints, audits, and management review provide the baseline for comparison. Transition question: what already works, and what now needs to change? The transition team should identify revisions that can affect organizational arrangements and inspection activities. Important areas include the revised independence model, risk-based thinking, flexibility, and data and information controls. Understanding the reason and impact of a change is more valuable than simply memorizing revised wording. The movement from the previous Type A, Type B, and Type C framework to Type A and Type Non-A requires careful transition attention. Organizations should evaluate applicable independence arrangements, organizational relationships, impartiality threats, responsibilities, and safeguards rather than performing a simple terminology replacement. Risk-based thinking connects organizational circumstances with appropriate controls. Inspection bodies should consider what could affect impartiality, competence, inspection validity, equipment, information, technology, or consistent operation. The result should influence decisions and controls rather than exist only in a risk register. Transition can create new competence requirements. Revised responsibilities, digital systems, remote inspection tools, software, or updated methods may require additional training and evaluation. Lead auditors should trace competence from defined requirements to actual authorized inspection activity. Reliable inspection depends on suitable and appropriately controlled resources. Traditional measuring equipment may require calibration and maintenance, while digital systems can require additional controls involving software, configuration, access, and updates. The lead auditor should focus on resources capable of influencing inspection results. Methods should remain appropriate for the intended inspection activity. New technologies or changed operating conditions may require evaluation before old procedures are reused. A revised method should eventually become visible in competent personnel, controlled equipment, actual inspection practice, and reliable records. Digital information can now travel from measuring equipment to mobile devices, cloud platforms, technical reviewers, customer portals, and electronic archives. Inspection bodies need confidence in relevant information throughout this journey. The transition cycle from 2012 to 2026 involves readiness, management review, corrective action, internal audit, understanding changes, gap analysis, risk assessment, action planning, implementation, and verification. Competent, impartial, and consistent inspection is at the core, surrounded by objective evidence and continual improvement. Transition assurance should reach the final inspection output. Select issued reports or certificates and trace them backwards through technical decisions, inspection evidence, equipment, methods, personnel, and relevant information. This reverse trail provides a powerful test of whether the transition system operates as intended. Internal audit should test the transitioned management system rather than simply confirm that documents were revised. Auditors can interview personnel, observe inspections, sample records, test digital controls, examine impartiality arrangements, and verify implementation of significant transition actions. Management review gives leadership an opportunity to evaluate transition status, unresolved findings, resources, risks, audit results, competence needs, and operational performance. Transition readiness should therefore become a management decision supported by evidence rather than a declaration made only by the quality department. Internal audits and implementation checks may identify remaining gaps. These should be corrected and, where necessary, addressed through corrective action. Effective closure requires evidence that the underlying issue has been appropriately addressed. Lead auditors should be able to move vertically and horizontally through the transition system. One sample can connect several areas. For example, an issued inspection report can lead to inspector competence, equipment status, method selection, digital records, technical review, impartiality, and management system controls. From 2012 baseline to 2026 readiness, showing a gradual rise with other immediate indicators when documentation changes, with a milestone labeled as operational evidence established. Consider an international inspection body operating across manufacturing plants, lifting equipment, pressure systems, and infrastructure projects. Its existing management system was established around ISO/IEC 17020 to 2012. The transition team compares the revised requirements, reassesses independence arrangements, introduces stronger digital information controls, updates relevant inspection processes, evaluates personnel competence, reviews training needs, and completes an internal inspection. Remaining gaps are addressed through corrective action and verified before management declares readiness. The lead auditor then selects actual inspection reports and traces them through personnel, equipment, methods, decisions, and management system controls. This provides evidence of whether transition has moved from documentation into real inspection activities. A competent lead auditor does not ask only, "Has the organization updated its system?" The stronger question is, can the organization demonstrate that necessary changes are understood, implemented, controlled, and effective? This mindset transforms transition auditing from documentation into professional assurance. The complete ISO IEC 17020-2012 to ISO IEC 17020-2026 transition connects understanding, gap analysis, independence, impartiality, competence, technology, inspection methods, information control, implementation, internal audit, management review, corrective action, and verification. Successful transition is demonstrated when revised arrangements operate consistently in real inspection activities. Remember, understand the change, implement the change, audit the change, prove effectiveness. CDG Training's view is that transition readiness should be judged by evidence at the point of inspection. Updated manuals and completed action plans are important, but confidence comes when competent personnel consistently apply appropriate methods, controlled resources, impartial decisions, and reliable information in actual inspection activities. The complete lead auditor assurance chain is 2026 requirement, transition impact, organizational response, implementation, inspection evidence. If you wish to undergo a complete professional course on this subject and earn a recognized certification, visit www.cdgtraining.com and enroll in the ISO IEC 17020-2012 to ISO IEC 17020-2026 Lead Auditor Transition course. Your entire learning experience, from course access to study materials, an online examination, and certificate issuance, is completely online and automated. Learn at your own pace, from anywhere in the world. Appear for the online exam at your convenience, and receive your professional certification digitally upon successful completion. Visit www.cdgtraining.com to enroll, get certified, and take the next big step in your professional journey. You can check the course link in the video description. Thank you for choosing CDG Training, your partner in inspection body standards, lead auditing and professional certification.